British fair right activist Tommy Robinson has once again ignited controversy after posting a new clip in which he mocked Labour MP Stella Creasy, deriding her as irrelevant and portraying the populist right as the political future of Britain.
Stella, do I look rattled? Just pouring myself a bowl of Frosties, darling, and then enjoying, laughing as people like you realise you're irrelevant, okay? Politicians, Labour Party, Keir Starmer, David Lammy, all of you, traitors, the lot of you. You're running out of time. You're just on the edge. You're just on the edge. Soon you'll be gone. The future belongs to us, Stella. You know it. You're upset. You've tried to keep us as fringe voices for so long. Those fringe voices, they're now mainstream. We're mainstream. You're not. So I'm not rattled, darling. Just having a quick bowl of cereal this evening.
The short video, circulated late Sunday on Robinson's social media accounts, shows him speaking casually while eating cereal, a performance that appeared designed to project calm while dismissing his critics. "Stella, do I look rattled? Just pouring myself a bowl of Frosties, darling," Robinson said in the clip, and then enjoying laughing as people like you realize you're irrelevant. Politicians, Labour Party, David Lammy, all of you traitors, you're running out of time? Robinson's tone mixed taunting humor with combative rhetoric, reflecting his long-running campaign to portray himself and his movement as insurgents challenging what he calls Britain's liberal establishment. His reference to being fringe voices now mainstream underscores his claim that anti-immigration and nationalist politics have entered the political mainstream, a message that resonates with his online following but remains sharply disputed by political analysts. Political observers say Robinson's calculatedly informal style, addressing MPs by first name and speaking from his kitchen, is part of a broader populist tactic aimed at portraying establishment politicians as out of touch with ordinary people. The timing of the video comes amid heightened tensions in British politics over immigration, community cohesion, and online radicalization. Robinson, who has a history of criminal convictions and past bans from major social media platforms, has used his reemergence on X to challenge political opponents and amplify his criticisms of Labour leaders. With Britain heading into a period of political uncertainty and rising tensions over immigration policy, confrontations such as this illustrate the challenge mainstream parties face, encountering online populist figures who blend humour, grievance, and provocation to engage large digital audiences.
The slur of racism has power. This week, the Labour Party conference went ahead, but they were obsessed with Nigel Farage, highlighting what they believed to be a racist policy. This was clearly their new tactic. Let's have a listen to the policy.
But look, ultimately, what this comes down to is prioritising British people for British jobs, ensuring that our welfare system is for UK citizens and UK citizens only, and ensuring that that Boris wave of enormous numbers, millions, in fact 3.8 million, is what you would consider to be in the Boris wave. The 800,000 of that one might estimate would get ILR.
What's racist about that? Labour then went on to cart out a policy not dissimilar. Shabana Mahmood's plans were to...
We will soon increase the time in which someone must have lived in this country to earn indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10. I will be proposing a series of new tests, such as being in work, making national insurance contributions, not taking a penny in benefits, learning English to a high standard.
Members of the Labour Party then, in my view, went on to misrepresent the Reform UK policy.
The proposal which Reform set out, within about an hour or so of them setting it out in the last couple of weeks, it fell apart in terms of all of the details that they hadn't thought through about how the policy would work. And let's be really clear what their policy would mean. Their policy would mean that people who are in Britain, who maybe have family here, who have been working for many years, maybe set up a business, part of the community, they would be taken out of the community and not allowed to continue as part of our country. And I think
That's not true. That's not what was said. And then members of the Labour Party continue to denigrate Nigel Farage and his policy, calling it racist, which implied he's a racist and those who support him are also racist too.
We must call his scheme to round up and deport our French, our Indian, our Caribbean neighbours who already have indefinite leave to remain what it is. It is racist. I say not in our country. Not in our name, not in our time.
Well, I do think that it's a racist policy. I do think it's immoral. It needs to be called out for what it is.
David Lammy even went as far as to say this.
I will leave it for the public to come to their own judgments about someone who once flirted with Hitler Youth when he was younger. That is for the public.
He later retracted that. The timing, however, as ever, was off. As usual, as one of the biggest ever race-religion rows culminated in the death of two innocent Jewish men protecting Jewish people from an Islamist threat. A shooting on Yom Kippur, the perpetrator a Syrian-born British national who wore a dummy suicide belt.
Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy, and before I do, please.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Now, I'm not saying that I lay any blame on Keir and his party for this synagogue attack, and some might say his party were justified in placing the racist slur on Nigel Farage's policy. But the accusation of racism is a serious one and can have devastating consequences.
This language will incite and encourage the radical left. I'm thinking of Antifa and other organisations like that. It directly threatens the safety of our elected officials and our campaigners.
The synagogue attack, in my view, was a racist-fuelled terrorist attack. What's happening here in the UK regarding Reform UK's immigration policy, in my view, is not racism. What is happening here is reasonable outrage that people who have come here illegally and many legally, taking from the economy, having put nothing into it. That's what Nigel Farage is talking about. Racism is often exacerbated by mass migration, where governments fail to protect borders and a culture of anger and resentment ensues. And it results with people who get upset when they feel that when they have contributed, they see their taxes being spent unwisely, whilst those who have come here illegally live rent-free for years. You could argue that Nigel's policies would help to prevent racism. I know what racism is, and I know it is a form of hate, and I know what it can cause, and we saw it firsthand the other day. So instead of calling policies that ensure people who come to this country from abroad pay their way, instead of calling them racist, instead of exacerbating the problem by throwing out slurs to people brave enough to see the problem, how about those in power, and by that I mean the Labour Party, quit with the distractions and name-calling and get on with the job of securing our borders?